Tokyo, March 2000. Their science stat. Now Fumiko and the children knew that Hana had come to Auschwitz from their science stat. Fumiko was excited. This was the first solid piece of information she had found about Hana. The first clue. Their science stat was the name that the Nazis gave to the Czech town of Terezin. It was a pretty little town with two imposing fortresses, first built in the 1800s to hold military and political prisoners. After the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia, they turned Terezin into the Versailles ghetto, a walled, guarded, overcrowded prison town to hold Jews who had been forced to leave their homes. Over the course of World War II, more than 140,000 Jews were sent here. 15,000 of them were children. Fumiko stayed up late at night, her office a glow of light in the darkened center, reading everything she could find about their science stat. She learned that terrible things had happened in their science stat, and that over the course of a few years almost everyone in the ghetto was deported again, put on trains and sent off to the more terrible concentration camps in the east, which were known to be death camps. But Fumiko also learned that brave and inspiring things happened in their science stat. Among the adults were some very special people: great artists, famous musicians, historians, philosophers, fashion designers, social workers. They were all in their science stat because they were Jews. Nove mesto namorave autumn 1940, spring 1941. Autumn brought with it a chill in the air, as well as more restrictions and hardship. Hana was about to begin grade 3, when the Nazis announced that Jewish children would no longer be allowed to go to school. "Now I will never see my friends," Hana wailed when her parents told her the bad news. "Now I'll never become a teacher when I grow up." She always dreamed of standing up at the front of the classroom and having everyone listen carefully to whatever she had to say. Mother and father were determined that both Hana and her brother would continue their education. Luckily, they had enough money to hire a young woman from the next village to be Hana's tutor, and an old refugee professor to teach George. An astonishing amount of talent, training, and knowledge was crowded inside the walls of the ghetto. Under the noses of the Nazis and at great risk, the inmates secretly plotted and established an elaborate schedule of teaching, learning, producing, and performing for both adults and children. They were determined to remind their students that, despite the drab, cramped surroundings, despite everything, the world was a place of beauty and every individual person could add to it. Fumiko also discovered that children in their science stat were taught to paint and draw. And miraculously, 4,500 drawings created by these children had survived the war. Fumiko's heart began to beat more quickly. Could it be that among those drawings there might be one or more by Hana Brady? A letter came to the house ordering Mother to appear at 9 o'clock in the morning at Gestapo headquarters in the nearby town of Igla. In order to be there on time, she would have to leave in the middle of the night. She had one day to organize everything and say goodbye to her family. She called Hana and George into the living room, sat on the couch, and pulled the children close to her. She told them that she would be going away for a while. Hana snuggled a little closer. "You must be good while I am gone," she said. "Listen carefully to Father and obey him." "I will write," she promised. "Will you write back to me?" George looked away. Hana trembled. The children were too shocked to reply. Their mother had never left them before. Mother tried to be cheerful. "Good morning, Hana," she would sing out when the sun rose. "It's time for breakfast. You don't want to be late for school." Every morning, Hana would meet her new tutor at the dining room table. She was a kind young woman, and she did her best to encourage Hana with reading, writing, and arithmetic. She brought a small blackboard that she leaned up against a chair. Once in a while, she allowed Hana to draw with the chalk and bang out chalk dust in the brushes. But at this school, there were no playmates, no practical jokes, no recess. Hana found it harder to pay attention or stay focused on her lessons. In the darkness of the winter, the world seemed to be closing in on the Brady family. Indeed, when spring came, disaster struck. In March 1941, Mother was arrested by the Gestapo, Hitler's feared secret state police.